In 2008, Jennifer Hudson was in her fourth year in showbiz. She was shining bright, an authentic performer who captured the audience in a tremendous way, shortly before experiencing the darkest episode of her life. On 24th October 2008, she lost her mother, brother, and a nephew in a gruesome murder by someone she once considered as family. In a peaceful neighborhood of Englewood, Chicago, Illinois, moments were covered with a dark cloud. It included close family members of the star with an angelic voice, Jennifer Hudson, who at the moment was enjoying her success in her music career. She lost her 57-year-old mother, Danielle Donaldson, 29-year-old brother by the name of Jason, and an innocent young nephew, only 7 years old, by the name Julian King. The three were gunned down at their three-story family house in Chicago, Illinois, a place where they had lived for most of their lives. At around 3 p.m., Jennifer's older sister, Julia Hudson, returns home from work. As usual, she's expecting to be welcomed by Julian, her 7-year-old son. He had not attended school that day and was being babysitted by his grandmother and Jennifer's older brother, Jason. Upon arriving at the front door, she is shocked to learn that there's a bullet hole on it. She quickly opened, and her mother lay there, her body lifeless. She ran out of the house to call 911.
What happened?
I don't know. She's on the floor. My people have to come from her head.
Is she breathing?
I don't know. I didn't touch. I didn't run out the house.
She also realizes that her other family members are missing. She requests a neighbor to help her find them.
Where's my brother? What happened? Look at the house. I don't know what Julian is about this.
To their surprise, they learn that Jason was shot dead from his bedroom. Julian, her son, is missing. He had been abducted. During this time, Jennifer had only that morning of the murder, Jennifer was disturbed. She had not received a text message from her mother, and it's already 10 a.m. in the morning. It was odd, so she had said. Later, she was with her fiancé when he received a call from Julia. She sounded really hysterical. Jennifer grabbed the phone from him to listen to whatever Julia was saying. She understood everything. It was devastating. She flew immediately to Chicago, and upon arriving home, the press is eagerly waiting. But Jennifer did not say anything. She went straight to Cook County's examiner's office, where she was faced with a heart-wrenching task of identifying her mom and brother as they lay dead in the cold rooms. Jennifer did not take time to grieve. Her energy quickly shifted towards finding her nephew. She even laid a reward to anyone who would find him. $100,000 was the reward. And in fact, that is the only thing that the surviving family members and friends cared about now: finding Julian alive.
They just found out who did it. And when they find them, they get what they deserve.
You knew immediately who had done it.
We all did.
Jennifer would finally lay her blame for the death of her beloved family members on a man who was once close, her ex-brother-in-law, William Belfour, Julia's ex-husband. Julia had separated with William some times before. That day when he killed the victims, Julia had gone to work as usual. William caught her, saying that he would go pick Julian and spend some time with him. After Julia Hudson informed her mother that William would come pick Julian King, the grandmother said that that would only happen over her dead body, and that was the source of the argument. It was clear from the beginning Jennifer's mom had not approved the relationship between Julia and William. The police are able to use William's phone signals and they manage to triangulate his phone location. He was miles away from the crime scene, at the new girlfriend's house. He had attempted to flee when the police got there. He did not manage anyway and was brought to custody. At the questioning time, William is pretending to not understand why he had been arrested.
When the police entered that home, William Belfour attempted to flee.
We heard a loud bang. The police kicked the back door. So they came in full force and put me right on the ground.
For the Hudson family, grief mixes with hope.
Authorities tell that the suspect is in custody. William Belfour is being questioned by police, but Hudson's 7-year-old nephew Julian King, who Belfour is suspected of abducting, still has not been found.
Why am I here? We're here because your mother-in-law, your ex-mother-in-law, and ex-brother-in-law were found dead. And we're interested in is this kid. Where's the kid? I don't know where he is. I don't.
Let me put it to you this way. That little boy turns up DEAD somewhere. We're going to have a problem.
What you mean, I'm going to have a problem?
At this time, Julian King is yet to be found. William still claims to not know where the 7-year-old boy is at. But on October 27th, everyone finally took that deep breath. Several miles away from the original crime scene, a couple is walking their dog. They realize an SUV parked on their block that matched the one that the police had been looking for. They checked the license plate and it matched what was on the TV.
And he went and looked at the license plate and it matched what was on the TV.
We can confirm that the body located inside the vehicle was the body of 7-year-old Julian King.
What you're looking at is video of the white SUV. People from the medical examiner's office are going to that car right now. We understand that there's a possibility that the 7-year-old nephew, Julian King, may have been found dead this morning.
Julian King was found dead inside the SUV. Jennifer faces the ordeal again. She is to identify her dead nephew. Later, mourners would gather at a Chicago church for a private funeral for Jennifer Hudson's slain family members.
I imagine how she feels. I would never know that, you know.
It's very hurting to know that someone will kill a 7-year-old. And what have he done to anyone in his whole lifetime for them to kill him?
Jennifer disappears from the public eye for a while, carrying the weight of such a great loss to her heart. The case against her family killer was only beginning. It was to be even harder than she had even imagined. First, there were claims from the authorities that there was no physical evidence that would implicate William Belfour for the murder of Daniel Donaldson, Jason Hudson, and Julian King.
There is no physical evidence to connect William Belfour to the murders of Darnell Donaldson, Jason Hudson, and Julian King.
The DNA on the murder weapon doesn't match Belfour's.
Defense argues investigators wrongfully zeroed in on Belfour because they had a high-profile case on their hands and needed a suspect.
We are extremely confident that once all of the evidence has come to light, that William will be found not guilty.
2 months later, after disappearing from the public, Jennifer is invited to perform at the Oscars.
Jennifer Hudson.
What added more salt to the injury is that, in 2 days' time from then, she'd be celebrating her late brother's birthday. Of course, without him.
I don't really think it was the Grammy itself. I just think it was more of a moment in her life that she won't forget.
Wow, I'm just in awe right now. I would like to thank my family in heaven and those who are here today. Wow.
But in honor for her family, she gathered her strength and stepped out to go do what her family loved watching her do most. And what is that? Singing, of course.
I could hear my brother in my head, like, Jennifer, you need to kill this. I was out in the cold. Nothing could heal this hole in my soul. You need to get up and do you. I knew he would be disappointed if I didn't do it justice.
Her performance was quite an emotional one, and she had said that she had heard her brother's voice encourage her.
God never gives you anything that you can't handle. And again, this isn't a religious thing, but you go like, wow, he's allowing her to handle it tonight. He's allowing her to still have a sweet taste in her mouth after all of these bitter things.
She claimed that her brother would have been disappointed if she had not done it. People were moved by her flawless and astonishing performance that moment, despite the pain she was suffering. But somehow, she still felt the presence of her beloved family members.
I was definitely thinking of my family when I was singing that song. That's what I was thinking.
After this, she decided that it was time her family get the justice they deserved. She began the tough journey of facing their killer. During opening statements, Belfour's defense attorney told jurors that police targeted him for the crimes because they were under pressure to solve quickly what they knew would become a high-profile case due to it involving Jennifer Hudson's family. Defense attorney Amy Thompson also told the jury that DNA found on the gun and the fingerprints found in the SUV in which Julian's body was found 3 days later did not match Belfour. Belfour pleaded not guilty to the charges and claimed he was nowhere near the house when the murders occurred.
Everything that was said in trial about me making threats or anything like that, it was all new to me.
And you don't know who did it?
No.
Or you're just not willing to say?
No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
It's very responsible. I'm not letting him off the hook for anything.
Jennifer is trying to say that this is not a crime that will go unpunished. This is not another nameless, faceless crime that nobody pays attention to.
She helped set the time of this crime. There was a habit between her and her mother that, Mom would always text her. That coupled with all of the other witnesses in the case and the cell tower analysis done with the defendant in that area at the time these horrific crimes were being committed.
So many compelling pieces of circumstantial evidence, but when you put it all together, you know exactly what the picture is.
We didn't like how he treated her. None of us wanted her to marry him. Jennifer Hudson told the jury, "We did not like how he treated her." Jennifer Hudson's sister Julia testified that Belfour was so jealous that he would even become angry when her son Julian kissed his mother. He would tell the 7-year-old boy, "Get off my wife," she testified.
In the summer of 2006, did you learn that your sister Julia was dating somebody?
Yeah. I eventually learned that Julia and William were dating shortly after he resurfaced to the neighborhood. None of us wanted her to marry him. I would tell her over and over again not to marry William. We did not like how he treated her, and I didn't like how he treated my nephew.
Everything that was said in trial about me making threats or anything like that, it was all new to me.
And you don't know who did it?
No.
Or you're just not willing to say?
No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
Brittany Akoff Howard testified that Belfour asked her to cover for him on October 24, 2008, the day Jennifer Hudson family members were killed. Howard told juror that Belfour helped her buy a prom dress and treated her like a little sister. He told me that if anybody asks you, "I've been out west all day," Ark Howard said at the trial. In response to a specific prosecution witness, she said Belfour had asked her to lie for him. Illinois State Police evidence analyst Robert Buck told juror that gunshot residue was found on the steering wheel of Belfour's vehicle and the ceiling of the Suburban. His testimony followed that of another analyst, Pauline Gordon, who said no traces of Belfour's DNA were found on the murder weapon, but that did not mean he never handled the gun. Some people shed skin cells faster, Gordon said. Gloves could have been worn too. The jury deliberated 18 hours before finding Belfour guilty on 3 counts of murder and several other charges in connection with the October 24, 2008 deaths of Darnell Donaldson, Jason Hudson, and Julian King. After the verdict, jury members described the process they used during their deliberations. First, they voted on whether each witness was credible. Then, they created a timeline of the crime to compare it with the alibi Belfour's attorney outlined during the trial. When the jury got around to taking its first vote, it was 9-3 in favor of conviction. Some of us tried our best to make him innocent, but the facts just weren't there, Juror Tracy Austin told reporters. Before he was sentenced, Belfour was allowed to make a statement. In it, he offered condolences to the Hudson family but maintained his innocence. "My deepest prayer goes out to Julian King," Belfour said. "I loved him. I still love him. I'm innocent, Your Honor."
One time that I ever threatened her, period.
Belfour was on parole at the time for a 1992 attempted murder conviction. Prosecutors used cell phone records to place him near the crime scenes, cited gun residue on his clothing and on his car's steering wheel, all of which he claims were planted by police or concocted by evidence technicians. To hear you describe it, this was a huge conspiracy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Would have involved lawyers, witnesses, the police, technicians. Is that correct? All of those people.
Under Illinois law, Belfour faced mandatory life without parole sentences for the multiple murders. Illinois law does not allow death penalty sentences under any circumstances. "You have the heart of an Arctic night," Judge Barnes told Belfour at his sentencing hearing. "Your soul is as barren as dark space." Belfour was sentenced to life without parole.
Anybody believe what you're saying now?
I mean, it's up to them to make sense out of it. Because if you make a statement and the statement don't add up to the way the murders happen, then it's a problem. That's reasonable doubt.
34-year-old Belfour is a career criminal. The police paperwork on him pages long. Since age 14, a gangbanger, carjacker, burglar, and drug dealer, a 10th grade dropout whose father and brother are both ex-cons. If you didn't kill Jennifer Hudson's family, who did?
I don't know. I mean, I can sit here and speculate to many names and just throw them out there to you. It still won't solve it. Period.
Belfour refused to answer only one question. Why did you not testify?
I was told not to take the stand.
By whom?
My trial lawyer.
You could have overruled that.
I know that. But it was things that were discussed in private as far as taking a stand.
Whatever those were, he wouldn't say. But he was happy to discuss his boyhood friend Jennifer Hudson, who a year before the killings he was pictured with toasting her Academy Award. What would you say to Jennifer Hudson if she was sitting across from you?
I didn't have nothing to do with her family being killed. Period.
Did you ever think about Julian?
Of course. I mean, I don't know, man. Do I miss him? Yeah. Do I love him? Yeah.
Why would a 7-year-old have been killed?
That's what I'm saying. It could have been the wrong place at the wrong time. A person who come in there to kill somebody don't care who they kill.
That 7-year-old boy could have identified you.
That's what I just said earlier. They couldn't say that he could have identified me. That's the reason why he got killed. Oh, he killed him because he could identify him. Now, Julian was smart. He remembered faces.
And what do you think about a person who could kill a boy of that age in the way that he
Heartless.
did?
Straight heartless. Ain't got no family morals, nothing.